Howdy, welcome to BanjoBenClark.com. I'm your host, Banjo Ben, here on your favorite website to learn how to play the banjo, or maybe the mandolin, maybe the guitar, maybe all three. Today we've got a great song. It's an old fiddle tune, and we're going to learn on the banjo in a melodic style. You know how much I love melodics. You know how much I'm influenced by guys like Alan Mundy, and so it just comes out of me. All right, so if you're watching here on Facebook or on YouTube, here in a moment, I'll ask you to go over to the website, BanjoBenClark.com. Where you can be a Gold Pick member, see this lesson as well as hundreds of others. I've already done this song for mandolin and guitar. And then you can also download the tabs too as part of your Gold Pick memberships. Not only do I have the tabs exactly as I played it in the performance, but I've also got 3 different speeds of rhythm MP3 tracks that you can download and you can practice along with. Okay, as well as video segments where I played the whole thing through very slowly. We talk about style, we talk about how to play backup for this song. It's about a 30-minute video lesson, so go check it out. Let's dive into measure 1 of Big Sciota. Let's learn some Big Sciota or Sciota, whatever you want to call it. That's up to you. It's up to me to teach it to you. Okay, so I'm ready to go. Now this is an old fiddle tune, and like a lot of old fiddle tunes, it's got this particular structure about it. It's made up of 2 A parts and 2 B parts, and each one of those parts have 8 measures apiece, okay? And so what I've done, as I did with my mandolin and my guitar version, is the very first A part, the first 8 bars, I write a little bit more straight ahead, closer to the melody. And then for the second A part, I'm going to stretch out just a little bit, make it a little bit more difficult. Then for the first B part, that has a different chord progression than the A part, I'm going to stick pretty close with it and then stretch out on the second B part. That gives you more options as you're learning this. You can take bits and pieces from the song and help make your own break if you'd like. Now as we throw up the tab here, a couple things I want you to pay attention to. 1, I have your right hand fingers beneath each one of the notes. So a T stands for thumb, 1 would be index, and 2 would be middle. And I want you to pay attention as we do these slides and hammer-ons in this song. Are they 8th note slides or are they 16th note slides? Okay, and I'll explain the difference there, but we see it right off the bat in our kickoff. We got to have a kickoff, right? It sounds something like this. Okay, so if somebody said, "Hey Bob, kick off Big Sciota," then this is what you would use to establish the tempo. Now those are 8th note slides. What I mean by that is we're going to slide from 4th to 5th fret at the same time that we pick our G string with our index finger. If it was a 16th note slide, it would sound like this. The slide would happen before. Okay, but I want them to happen at the same time. This is just personal taste for this particular break. Now we get into the first A part in this song. As you could tell whenever you listen to it, it's extremely melodic. This is a great opportunity if you've not watched my Introduction to Melodics lesson on the website. You've got to see it because we cover a lot of the basic building blocks that we're going to use here. So I'm not going to explain a lot of those because I assume that you've watched that. But we're going to, the first A part, measure 5, it sounds like this. So I'm sticking pretty close to maybe what a mandolin or a guitar would play. I want it to be very melodic. I'm going to reach up in that 7th fret and get my A note. And then play the open B string and then the C note here. Now yes, you could get those notes down here. But then you'd have to play some single string stuff. You could get a 2nd fret of G string and then jump up to the 5th fret there. So it would sound like this. And if that's easier for you to do, that's fine. I just like jumping up to the 7th fret. I think it sounds better. You can make it more legato or smooth. And I like to hold that down until I play that 5th fret. Now when we get to measure 6, it's the easiest measure in the whole song. It's just 4 quarter notes. Getting ready to go back into that little movement again. And then we've got the exact same measure in measure 7 as we did in measure 5. Now here in measure 8, we do actually have some single string stuff. It sounds like this. It's very basic, but we're going to play B string, G string, and then with our index finger, grab the G string on the 2nd fret. If that's too difficult for you, you could just hammer that on if you wanted. But I think it sounds good picked, and you need to learn how to do that. Now we are going to hammer on from 2nd to 4th fret on the low D string, walking back into it. So then measure 9 sounds like this. Once again, that's an 8th note slide, so that slide up to the 4th fret happens at the same time that we pick our B string. Then we go to a C chord, and we're going to land on this partial C chord, 1st fret B string, 2nd fret D string, pinch, and then we're going to do 1 forward roll through that, and then we're going to switch up to this very common melodic position where we're going to have our middle finger on the 5th fret of the B string, our index on the 4th fret of the D string, and we're just going to do a really cool melodic lick here, but that's the little pickup for it. So measure 10 together sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then leave it there. When we get to measure 11, we're going to finish out this lick. We're going to do a forward roll, and we'll raise our index finger, but roll through. Then lift that, come back to the B string, then back to our familiar position down here on the 7th fret. 7, open, 5, open. In measure 12, we have that little single string lick again. Now, we're getting ready to go into the 2nd A part, which is going to be a little bit more difficult, and we're going to get into it by playing this little hammer-on triplet on the low D string. So we're going to pick our low D string with our thumb. This is at the very last beat of measure 12, and then we're going to hammer 2 and then hammer again 4 without picking it again. And these are triplets, so they happen a little bit faster than the rest of our 8th notes. And what I must tell you, to get these really clear, you've got to be very focused on that D string. If you try to slap down fingers like this, you're not going to get it. You want to use the tips of your fingers and be very accurate about where you throw them down. Because especially when you're going fast, you won't be able to hear those triplets very well. But then once we get into the 2nd A part here, measure 13.